Hey everybody, just the old guy in Sweet Home stopping to say hi everybody again today. Um, Went to the doctor yesterday. Didn't really, I don't like doctors that much. Never have much. Um, no, most people don't realize that they call it a practice, a doctor's practice. They don't know 100% what they're saying is right or wrong. They're just throwing out things and see what will work for you. Throw it against the wall, see what sticks, as you say. That's kind of the way he is. Um, I showed up early. We came into the nearby town of Lebanon from Sweet Home. It's the nearest town. It's twice the size of Sweet Home, so it's got more stuff like hospitals and stuff. They have a Santiam Hospital. No, Good Samaritan Hospital, sorry. Good Samaritan Hospital. Santiam is the name of this region of Oregon. Sometimes they call it the Santiam region. But anyway, we show up early, so we had to go wait, kill a few more minutes. We went and got a hot dog and a drink. I didn't eat the hot dog because I'm afraid she was gonna put my girlfriend was gonna put a lot of chili and cheese on it, and I had bad breath, and I just have it right after the appointment. But anyway, and I got a Pepsi. I'm still old fashioned in some respects. I still like things like just straight up old Pepsi or a 7-Up, Mountain Dew. So she likes to experiment with stuff. I rarely ever get just Pepsi. I usually get Pepsi, some lemonade shot in it or something weird. But we got that, and then we went back, and we still had time to kill, so we watched a little bit of some videos on my Chromebook, which I'm working with right now. And then it got time. I went in, and you know, I had already done most paperwork online and on what they call my charts the day before, so I really didn't have much to do. They basically just had me go over my list of meds, make sure they were correct. I have 9 different meds, and that's straight meds. It's a lot of times when they give somebody medicine, part of it is counteracting the side effects with another medicine. I'd have none of my meds like that. I just straight out have meds. Um, but I have a slew for the high blood pressure I had that would cause a stroke. In my book, and it almost over double what it should have been. So I think it had a key factor. But anyway, and then I had meds for a bad stomach. I think called GERD. But I had that before my stroke. It used to bug me quite a bit. Kind of cut down my pop intake. It went away enough. It wouldn't bother me as much. I used to wake up in the middle of the night with acid coming up my throat. And you're asleep and you swallow it back up and you could die. Luck I never did, but it makes a really bad night. My clock got knocked over. You get a really bad night, and I actually lost a couple days of work because I was so bad the next morning I couldn't stop shaking from basically the trauma that I couldn't go work. You can't. I was working in a warehouse. You're not going to operate a forklift if you can't stop shaking. I hated doing that. I always went to work. It was very good at it. I probably missed only a couple days in 10 years. I did that warehouse work for Target. But I don't like Target much. I'll do that story someday. Let's say I didn't like the way it ended. I went in and waited for them a few minutes, and then the nurse took in the back room. They always do. They weigh you, and then they sit you down, and they check your blood pressure and your blood and your heart rate. All the little things. Really, what they're really checking on when you go in for a basic checkup. And then she left, and my doctor right now. I say right now because it changes. Since was on Oregon Health Plan, but I'm not anymore. But it kind of puts you in a cycle where you get whoever they give you. If you don't like them, they just give you somebody else until you find somebody you like. But you never know how long they'll be there. Most of the time, they're only there for a couple of years. Since my stroke 8 years ago, I've had 4, maybe 5 different doctors. Almost every year I go in for physical is a different doctor. And this one's about sleep too. When I go in next time, which actually will be in January of 2007, so I'll go a whole year and I did a couple days, month or so. It'll be something new. Kind of way relieved. This doctor's not bad, but he's also got kind of odd opinions on certain things. He's from another country. He's from India, which can be here and there, but he does have some kind of different views than a regular American doctor would normally have. I think. I'm not trying to be prejudiced, just his culture. They think some things a little different than we think of things, But he's friendly. I kind of go along with him because I don't understand him very well, and he doesn't understand me 100% of the right way. You don't think? So I do have a little bit of speech problems sometimes, but he goes with it, and I guess before he was a general practitioner, he was into sleep studies. So even though I don't snore, I don't breathe bad, he wants me to do, I guess, to give you from what I understood, they give you like a device you put around your wrist while you're sleeping that monitors your breathing and everything. And then you turn it in, they go over it and see if you have problems sleeping. Everybody I've ever has a girlfriend and been around me when I'm sleeping say I don't snore. I occasionally will snore when I'm really sick or I'm really, really tired. That's it. He asked me if I move around at night. No, I don't move around. Again, I'm different in that respect. Lots of people toss and turn and move around a lot. My girlfriend who I live with, she tosses and turns constantly. In fact, I often have to move everything over my far side of me because she'll crush it. She rolls over things, And there's a cat coming in, I think. I didn't see the cat yet, but I heard the tent shook. I hear him moving around in there. He'll pop out in a minute. But anyway, I actually wake up when I move. So I'm going to turn one side. I'll kind of groggy, wake up for a second, roll over, and go back to sleep again. I don't just do it in my sleep. So that comes from when I was younger. And when I had children, my ex used to like to nurse in bed and put them between us, laying on bed between us, so she could just lay over and give them a boob, and they'd drink the milk and go back to sleep. She didn't have to get up or nothing, change bottles. She just give them a boob, and away they go. Well, it got me conscientious of how I turn it. I don't land on a baby, so I actually wake up still and then go back to sleep again. So really, I don't think there's really anything sleep-wise wrong with me. But he thinks I do. He measures my throat. Oh, your throat's just borderline or being too thin for good breathing. Okay. And he looked down my mouth, down my throat. He looked real long at that. Looked up my nose. I thought he was going to check my ears. He checked my nose. All for the sleeping thing. He said, that's probably what you had the stroke. It's because you're bad sleeping. Really? The blood pressure didn't have an effect, is what I was thinking. So anyway, I came out of that with 3 things I had to do. I had to check my blood pressure for the next 2 weeks, morning and evening, and then turn it into a nurse. Because my blood pressure was up just a smidgen above normal. Which probably because I was nervous. I don't like doctors to make me nervous. I get it. I think my blood pressure goes up just that alone. Then he wants me to have a blood draw. I don't know why. I had one 6 months ago, but he wants another one. And then I'm supposed to do the sleep thing for a couple weeks. So, but the point that bothers me about it is they all cost money. And my medical stuff is kind of funky that way. Right now, the hospital's supposed to cover up what's called gap insurance. Whatever my insurance company can't pay, they'll pay for it. Pretty much everything else. As long as it's not a super amount. And this is all penny stuff, at least in their minds. Me, it's not. These things like a couple $100 or more, you know. But I mean, it could add up to $1,000. You could throw 4 or 5 things together. You know, the visit, the 3 different tests. It could easily be $7,000 to $8,000. So my mail card, they don't really like it. It was Good Samaritan. They allow certain things, but they won't allow 100% coverage with this card. That's why I had insurance from their hospital to help. Um, I could have gone with another insurance company that they like and it would have covered more, but then I lose, since I only go to the doctor usually once a year. The side effect is that this card gives me a healthy, what's called healthy food per month, which I use to buy groceries. Now I can't buy junk food, but I can buy everything else. You know, milk, eggs, meat, even TV dinners. You know, all those things, vegetables, fruit, all those things are covered by this allotment every month. And it's like, was 240, I think it's 190 now. It went down a little bit for some odd reason. But my girlfriend, she has a medical card, and she has the full blown $200 a month food stamps. So my card basically covers almost everything. Her card we basically use to get things that they consider as junk food and or not quite healthy enough. And she buys a few of the other things too. And usually between the two of us, we usually end up with about $50 to $70 a month extra. So we get a heavy duty month where we really need a lot of things, and that falls in place. Or like when Trump was fooling around with not letting the food stamp cards go through, that hurt a lot. We're getting back, but they were saying that they weren't going to honor anything that was left over in your card. So usually we leave $50, $70 floating around on that card. But when we heard that, we went straight to Walmart and maxed out our card. Usually we wouldn't do that. But because of the politics going on, again, one reason why he makes me nervous, he don't care about people on welfare. He just said, I'm not going to do it. They won't do what I want them to do, and I'm not going to do it till they do. I don't care if people starve to death or are hungry. And it's Thanksgiving next week. Whoa, whoopee. I don't care about holidays. I care about myself. It's basically what the message he gave across to us. I mean, even if you like Trump, you can't deny that's what he said. He said it. So, anyway, that was a hospital visit. So I got to go back in tonight. I have a pressure cuff to monitor my blood pressure, but I haven't used it in a long time. So before I go finish today, I'll go in, I'll get it out of the drawer in my desk in the house, and first off, make sure the battery still works. It probably doesn't. I probably need new batteries, and then see if it'll take my blood pressure. If not, I'll have to buy another blood pressure cuff, which is another $30-$40 out of my pocket. But do what you gotta do sometimes. And they are nice to have around. If you have any pains or something, you can check it that way. Yeah. I do that. And then going back into Walmart and I still got a little bit of money on my medical card for food. The other drawback is medical card doesn't have rollover. So if I don't use everything on it, it rolls over, it's wiped clean, and it starts over again, and I lose that amount. And this is the last time I'll have it at the 240. Next time it'll be 190, I believe. So it'll go back $40 or $50. So I want to go ahead and use all of it I can for things we need. We didn't go. We usually go in at the middle of the month, but things kept happening. We never got to it. So that's why there's so much spread at the very end. But that's good because it'll help carry over next month, which will be a leaner month. And get things we need. We're out of fresh milk, and we need eggs. We eat a lot of eggs lately, and which I like eggs, so it works for me. So that's that. It's gonna be a long video today. I got these guys drawn out, so you can actually see what they look like before I cut them out, which you should be able to see. There's the body, the head, chest, legs. and that'll be a Labrador, kind of that distinctive Labrador flop on his ears and the way his head's put together. And then, so I didn't want to get dirty yesterday, I went ahead and worked on the next one coming up. With this one, mind the mess, this notepad's got all sorts of papers flopping around in it. Um, this one, I think you can see it, will be a German Shepherd dog. That'd be the next one. I basically started off with this idea by going through all the different. Get my coat on my shoulders today. It's cold out here. All the dogs in my neighborhood. And theory is that it gives me a good starting point in doing it, but also somebody does me a favor. I say, here's a picture of your dog you can have, as a thank you. And the guy across the back fence over here, he has a German Shepherd and a Border Collie. So that's why I got a German Shepherd. And I'll do a Border Collie. And then one of my friends in Lebanon has Chihuahuas. And she used to have a Pomeranian and a Chihuahua, Pug Chihuahua, a Pug and a Pomeranian. Those are the last two I'll do. I have them off to one side because I give her gifts from time to time because she helps me a lot. So I'll have all my dogs that I'm going to draw for the moment done and put off to one side. Then I'll start on some other things I think are kind of interesting. I mean, this idea has so much things you can do with it. I can do animals. I can do kind of word. Say the word. Fantasy creatures. Mythological. Can't say it. It's weird. But like dragons and fairies and unicorns, whatever I want to draw, that's something I can do. I can do symbols like American flag. I did that. I had to do it again. Didn't quite come out right, but it was one of the first things I did like this. But American flags and you could do bells. You could do trucks, cars, planes, jets. Sci-fi stuff like the Enterprise or different weapons and stuff. All sorts of things you can make with it. I just thought to go through and do a whole smear of the stuff. Eventually, I want to sell this stuff on like a fair or an event or something, but I haven't got to it yet. But more build them, more I'll have them available to me. And then I'm also making these step stools that nest inside of each other. And when they come out, they kind of like be a tall one, and the next one will be a little shorter, and the next one will be a little shorter. And they're gap basically the same height as what steps are as you go into your house. So a person could get a mobile home or a camper, and they'll have a good way to get up into it. They can just step right up and go in the house. Going back of a truck, like a truck bed, over the tailgate, boom, boom, on your in. Or cleaning your car or truck. Reach the top of it better. In the house, you'll be able to hang pictures and do things, you change lights and stuff you have to do in the house will be a real lot easier. It just tip the iceberg of what this nesting step stools will be able to do. So, had some drawbacks. I think I fixed the drawbacks. I actually should be able to put a stool together today, hopefully. Not much to it. They're really simple. And I'll show you that tomorrow. Next time I talk to you guys, probably tomorrow. I'll probably do this every day. So that's what I'm doing shop-wise. Kind of exciting. I typed in "old guy sweet home," and my picture, one of my first ones I did a couple days ago popped up. So I'm officially online. So this will probably pop up in your guys' world tomorrow, the next day. So hopefully you guys will like what I have to say, and you'll start, visiting with me more and more, and I'll get more and more, people liking what I'm doing. I'll get to talk to you more and more, And again, I'm going to start being like those guys that say, please subscribe for me and whatever. I won't do too much of that, but everybody does a little bit of it because I need help a little bit, and a little bit of help from whole bunch of people adds up pretty fast. And, you know, if something goes wrong with because of politics going on, like we almost did a food stamp card, then it'd be nice to have something to back me up to keep me going till things get fixed or whatever. I'm always looking for Plan B and Plan C, in case Plan A collapses. And it's a smart way to look at life. If you don't plan Plan B and Plan C, when Plan B goes bye-bye, then you're in trouble. And that's what most people, end up on the street or whatever because they didn't have a Plan B. And I don't want to end up on the street. I mean, it looks like it's in my tent here, but, that's just something I slapped together so I could work out here. I will eventually get it better. I'm planning on making some framework. If I can get the wood to frame this, so loosely frame this in, and then put the tarp on top of it, and then it'll be more like a room then. But I don't want to make it too permanent, or the city will start to say, "Hey, where's your permits for this?" So I want to get just good enough that I can be comfortable, but not good enough that somebody will say, "Hey, why aren't you permitted for this?" I got other ideas. I'm thinking about getting a small camper. You got some really neat, kind of follow along the lines of tiny houses, except it's tiny campers. You got not much of walk around space, but you have all the other amenities. And I saw one the other day. Believe it, it was only $1,300, which I couldn't believe. But it had a bed, it had a 2-burner stove, a microwave, a sink, a small sink. It had a small couch, a bathroom, a porta potty, or what a compost potty, what do they call it? All built in this one little small unit. You could pull the car even. And I told the girlfriend that'd be great. We could go places. We don't have to pay for an expensive hotel room or anything. We do what they call it. Oh, where you camp and nobody knows you're camping. There's a name for it. That's for Papa right now. Just stop somewhere by the side of the road, out of the sight of everybody else. As long as you get up and leave the next day before people show up, who cares? Stealth camping, or you rent a little space like in an RV park or we used to call those. I have a hard time with some words, and it's getting to bother me, but I get them eventually. But there's a club you can join that lets you go around the country and park in their places as long as you pay the fee each month. I don't remember the name of it. But we have a lot of those in Oregon. A lot, for me and her, we both don't do well when it's super hot. So, when it gets to be 100 degrees or more, it'd be nice to go over to the coast, which is not too far from here, like an hour away. And you drop from 100 degrees back down to 80 or less when you do that. And it's more comfortable. So, anyway, I've dragged this on to the longest one I've done so far. I guess I have plenty to talk about. So, I will talk to you. I hope everybody has a good day and has a good life, good day, whatever else. And I hope you guys start watching me more and more, and I'll get more popular. And I'm only asking for a little bit of help. So if I get to that point, that'd be great. Most of these guys do this. They want tons of money. I don't want tons of money. I just want enough money to buy food, pay for some bills. That's all I'd ask for. If I ever got good enough, popular enough to have people wanting to help me out. If not, I just like talking to you guys too. So, if it doesn't work out that way, I'd still talk to you. You just drop me an idea in your head also is all I'm doing. All right. Well, everybody have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. All right. Bye.